In this video, we're going to be looking at some of the problems that are on the actual calculator activity assignment that you'll have to complete and turn in class. And that actual calculator activity is on Campus Cruiser. But in this video, we have some sample problems that are similar to the actual calculator activity. Okay. And we'll start with the first problem, where you have 27,684.17 plus 6,501.904. Okay, and this is just a straightforward type problem. So here is the calculator, and I'll just put this calculator right here so that you can see this. And here in this case, you'll just type in the 27,684.17, and then plus 6,501.904 will be 6,501.904. And just hit enter, and you'll just get the answer as 34,186.074. Now, on the actual calculated activity, one of the directions does say that you must round to the nearest hundred. So in other words, you need to round each answer to 2 decimal places if needed. So in this case here, you have to round this answer to 34,186.07. The number in the hundreds places is 7. The digit after it is a 4. It's less than 5, so the 7 remains the same. So to 2 decimal places, it will be 34,186.074. Okay, now let's look at the next problem. We have 625 times 6 minus 531 divided by 9. Okay, now this calculator does calculate the problem using the order of operations. So if you type this expression into your TI-83 or TI-84 plus calculator as is, you'll get the correct answer, because the calculator does perform order of operations. So here we type in 625 times 6 minus 531 divided by 9. And then hit enter. And your final answer should be 3,691. So the answer to that expression will be 3,691. Okay. Problem number 3. We got, in parentheses, 21.94 minus 45.19. That difference will be multiplied by 16 and then minus 45.3. Again, the calculator does order of operations, so you can type this in exactly as you see it. So in this case here, we do left parentheses. Now the left parentheses key is above the number 8 button, as you can see. That's what the parentheses. Left parentheses is above the number 8. The right parentheses is above the number 9. So left parentheses, then you type in 21.94 minus 45.19. And then you're going to close the parentheses. And then type in the number 16. And then that's going to be multiplied. Because what this does here, it'll take the difference and then multiply it by 16. And then we're going to subtract from it 45.3. And then you hit enter, and you'll get the answer of negative 417.3. Negative 417.3 will be the answer to this particular problem. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Okay, this one has more grouping symbols. This time you got parentheses and brackets here. Now, since we don't have brackets on the calculator, we'll just use parentheses in its place and just type this in exactly as we see it. So in this case here, we'll do left parentheses, then 8 plus, then type in 6, then left parentheses, 15 minus 45 divided by 9. Now you're going to close the parentheses after the 9, but then you got another bracket here, so you need to close the parentheses again. And what that does, it closes the parentheses for the first one. The one before it closes the parentheses for the one that you opened up after you typed in the 6. And then you're going to hit plus 79 and then times 2. And then hit enter. Okay, so here you should come up with 226 as your answer. 226. Okay, next problem. Okay, now we got braces, then brackets, then parentheses in this problem here. 2,894 minus, and then left braces, 27 minus 2 times the bracket, 17 plus 7 times parentheses, 75 divided by 15 minus 83. Then the parentheses is closed, the bracket is closed, and the braces are closed. Then minus 693 divided by 9. Okay, so here's how we'll type in this particular problem using the calculator. In this case here, we'll start off with, and let me go and clear this out, 2,894 and then minus, and then left parentheses, the 27 minus 2, and then left parentheses. Now again, we don't have braces and we don't have brackets, so we have to use parentheses here. And after the 2, left parentheses, then 17 plus 7. And then left parentheses, then you got 75 divided by 15 minus 83. And then you close the parentheses 3 times. Because this is the parentheses, then the braces, and the bracket. I mean bracket, then braces. So you have to close your parentheses 3 times. Then minus 693 divided by 9. And then hit enter, which will give you 1,732. Okay, so the answer to this whole arithmetic expression will be 1,732. Okay, now let's look at the next problem here. This one's got negative signs in it. So we got 6 times negative 19 plus 34 times negative 5 times negative 3 minus negative 4 times 17. Now, we can do this without those parentheses that you see here. Okay, so in this case here, if I type in 6, what that means is times negative 19. So I can just say times. Now the negative key, negative 19. The negative key is at the very bottom next to the decimal point. Do not confuse that negative sign at the bottom with this subtraction symbol here. Okay? Negative sign is at the bottom. Subtraction is right here. Okay, so now we're going to do 6 times negative 19 plus 34. We'll say times negative 5, and then times negative 3. Now this right here is a minus sign. That is your subtraction, because we're subtracting negative 4. So we have to hit the subtraction button, and then negative 4. Then times 17. Okay. So that's your subtraction. The smaller minus sign is the negative sign. The negative sign is smaller than the minus sign, so don't get those confused. And then we hit enter, and we should get 464. Okay. Okay, let's look at the next problem. This one has an exclamation mark, but actually that exclamation mark represents the factorial symbol. So in this case, this is 56 factorial. Okay, now, factorial is this. It's just a product of numbers that are decreasing from the highest to the lowest. So like 56 factorial would be like 56 times 55 times 54 times 53 and so on all the way down to times 1. And that's divided by 52 factorial. Okay, so let me show you how to use it. Get the factorial symbol on this calculator here. We type in the number 52, and then you can hit this button on the left-hand side that says Math. So press the Math key. Now, the menu that we want to access is the menu that says PRB. That is short for probability. So you want to use your right arrow key right here and just right arrow over to PRB. And you should see this menu under the PRB menu or probability menu. Now, under that menu, you should see the exclamation mark, which is your factorial symbol. That's under number 4. You can use the down arrow key to go to number 4, or you can press number 4. But if you use the down arrow key to highlight number 4, you have to press enter. So that's going to be 52 factorial. And then that's going to be divided by, that's 56 factorial. Okay, 56 factorial divided by 52 factorial. So you do 52 and then hit your math key. Use your right arrow key to the PRB menu. You'll select number 4. Then hit enter. So now you got 56 factorial divided by 52 factorial. And it looks like this in your calculator. Okay, so in this case here, you go ahead and press enter. And you'll get this number, 8,814,960. Okay, so that's how we enter factorials on our calculator using the TI-83 or the TI-84 Plus. Okay, now let's look at the next problem that has factorials in it. 12 factorial divided by 8 factorial minus 7 factorial divided by 3 factorial. Okay, so let's enter this. Okay, the 12, we enter 12, hit this math button, hit the right arrow, use your right arrow key to highlight the PRB menu and select number 4. You can use your down arrow key if you like. Press enter. And this is what divided by 8 factorial. So divided by and then 8. Hit your math key. Go to the PRB menu and then select number 4. Hit enter. So that's 12 factorial divided by 8 factorial. Then minus 7. Then your math key. Go to the PRB menu, select number 4. Okay, and then times 3 factorial. 3, then the math key, go to PRB, select number 4. Your screen should look like this. And then you go ahead and press enter. And this will give you negative 18,360. And again, order of operations, here you do the division first and then the multiplication and then subtract. Okay, let's look at the next problem. This one reads absolute value of negative 12 times 5 plus 64 divided by the absolute value of negative 8. Okay, we can do this in the calculator as well. And I can show you how to access the absolute value. Okay, now for the absolute value of negative 12, you want to press the math key first. And the menu that you want is the menu that says NUM. That's the number menu. And notice under the number menu, you see number 1, which is ABS. That's short for absolute value. So you'll select that one when you just press enter. Now notice it gives the absolute value symbols here. With the TI-84 Plus, it gives the absolute value symbols. With the TI-83 Plus, it will say ABS. And then you'll type in negative 12. Okay. Now to get out of that, you want to hit your right arrow button to get out of it. Okay. So that's the absolute value of negative 12. And then times 5. And then plus 64 divided by, now you got the absolute value of negative 8. So here we hit the math key, go to the number menu, select number 1 for absolute value, and then type in negative 8. Notice that the negative key is next to the decimal point, so make sure you hit that for negative 8. And then hit your right arrow key to get out of it. Okay. So your screen should look like this. And then you're going to press enter. And that will give you the answer of 68. Okay. Now the difference between the TI-83 and the 84, the 83 will have the letters ABS and then left parentheses, and then you'll type in negative 12 for absolute value. That's the only difference here. With the 84 Plus, you'll have your absolute value symbols given to you when you press ABS for absolute value under the number menu. Okay, let's look at the next problem. We got 3/5 divided by 2/3 plus 7/10. And that's approximately equal to what? Now in this case here, I have two problems here. This one's the same as the other one. Now one's going to be a decimal, the other one's going to be in the form of a fraction. Now fractions we can type into the calculator. Now to be on the safe side, I'm going to use these parentheses around each one of these fractions here. So for 3/5, I'm going to use left parentheses, then 3 divided by 5, close the parentheses. And then minus, for 2/3, left parentheses, 2 divided by 3. And close the parentheses. And then plus, for the 7/10, again, put that in parentheses, so left parentheses, 7 divided by 10. And then close the parentheses. And then hit enter. Okay. Now that would be your decimal, because you want the approximate value to 2 decimal places, by the way, which is in this case 0.63. Okay. So in this case, that would be 0.63 as your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay. Now this next problem that I'm going to show you is the exact same problem. However, you want to convert that in the form of a fraction. So I still have my 3/5 minus 2/3 plus 7/10 in the calculator. And I came up with the answer of 0.63 with the 3 repeating. Now I want to convert this into a fraction. So let's press this button that says Math. Now notice under the Math menu, you see this, where you have the dark black arrow to the right, fraction, F-R-A-C. That means you want to take that answer and convert that to a fraction. So we'll select number 1 on our calculator, and I'll take that answer and convert that to a fraction. And then you're going to press enter to find out what that answer is. In this case here, it's 19 over 30. Now knowing the TI-84 pluses, it'll give you the fraction as is. That looks like this. On the TI-83, it'll have like 19/30. But that is a fraction, 19/30ths. Okay, next problem. We got 17 plus 67 in the numerator divided by 5 plus 24. 5 times 24. Now, the way we're going to have to do this problem is this. You have to think of this. You got to add 17 and 67 together first, and then 5 times 24 next. And then divide whatever you get in the numerator by whatever you get in the denominator. So if you were to do this in the calculator, you're going to need parentheses in the numerator and parentheses in the denominator in order to get the correct answer. So here, left parentheses, 17 plus 67. And then close the parentheses. And then divided by, now left parentheses will be 5 times 24. And close the parentheses. And then you'll hit enter. And you'll get a decimal, which is just going to be 0.7. Or to 2 decimal places will be 0.70, if you like. Okay, next problem. Done the same way, you got 12 plus 18 in the numerator divided by 7 times 12 minus 97 in the denominator. Again, we need parentheses in the numerator and parentheses in the denominator. So in this case here, we're going to do left parentheses 12 plus 118. And then close the parentheses, divided by, and then left parentheses, 7 times 12 minus 97. And close the parentheses. Okay. And then you'll press enter to get your final answer of negative 10. Okay, now let's look at this next problem. In this case here, we got in the numerator 25 times negative 4 plus 5 divided by 2. That whole thing is divided by 3 times 7 plus 45 divided by negative 18. All that's in the denominator. Okay, all of this, we need parentheses in the numerator, put all of this in parentheses, and then put all of this in the parentheses as well in the denominator. So in this case here, I'm going to clear this calculator out. We're going to use our left parentheses and then type in this expression. 25 times negative 4 plus 5 divided by 2. Close the parentheses. And then that's going to be divided by, and then left parentheses, type in this expression. 3 times 7 plus 45 divided by negative 18. Close parentheses. And then we go ahead and hit enter. And your answer would be negative 5.27. And this is rounded to 2 decimal places as indicated on your actual calculator activity. So to 2 decimal places, your answer should be negative 5.27. All right, problem number 15. Here we got 78 squared plus 18 squared. Okay, start off with a simple one here. 78 squared is just simply typing in the number 78, and there is a button that says x squared. If you hit the x squared button, you should see an exponent of 2. What it does, it takes the 78 and you will square it. And then plus 18 squared. 1/8, and then hit your x squared button to square it. So you have 78 squared plus 18 squared. And then you hit enter, and you'll get 6,408. Okay. All right, number 16. 15 to the fourth minus 45 to the third. Okay, now for the 15 to the fourth, the way you're going to have to type this in, you'll type in the number 15. There is this button that looks like an upside down V. That's called the caret key. If you press that key, that will raise this up to an exponent which you can type in, which is going to be the 4. So it'll be 15 to the fourth. But you have to hit your right arrow key button to get out of it. Okay? So with this calculator, with the TI-84 Plus calculator, what it does here is if you press this caret key, it'll raise this up to the exponent for you to type in your exponent, but you'll have to use your right arrow key to get out of it. And then minus 45, and that's raised to the third, so you use your caret key, and then type in the number 3, but you have to use your right arrow key to get out of that space. Okay, so now let's hit enter, and you'll get negative 40,500. Negative 40,500. Excuse me. All right, here's the next problem. This deals with the square root. The square root of 3136 minus the square root of 2,304. Now, for the square root, notice on this calculator, the square root is above the x squared button. To get that, you have to hit this blue second key, or if you have the TI-83 Plus calculator, it's the yellow second key. So you hit the second key, and then x squared. It will give you the square root. And then you'll type in that number underneath the radical, 3136. But you have to hit your right arrow key to get out of it. And that's only on the TI-84 Plus calculator, where you have to hit that right arrow key to get out of that radical. And then minus the square root second x squared again, and then 2,304. Now, if you're using the TI-84 Plus calculator, you have to hit this right arrow key to get out of that radical. Okay? That's very important. And then you're going to hit enter. So here, you have the answer of just plain 8 as your answer. Okay, number 18. This one has the fourth root of 20,736 minus the square root of 1296 times 2. Okay, now this calculator, let's see if we can get the fourth root. Okay, now if I try to press the math key and then hit the under this menu, I don't think there's a fourth root here. Okay, no, there's not. Okay. However, I can enter the fourth root. Notice that this index here is a 4. I need to type in the number 4. And then hit the math key. Now notice the one that you want to select is this one right here, where you got the X with the radical sign there. That means you can enter the fourth root of a number, the fifth root of a number, or the sixth root of a number. Any index that's higher than 3. Because on the number 4, you have the cube root. So let's select number 5. Because notice here, on this calculator, it puts the 4 as your index for this radical. Now, on the TI-83, it doesn't do that. It'll have the 4, and then it'll have the x with the radical sign behind it. And then we type in 20,736. Now, with this calculator, with the TI-84, hit your right arrow key to get out of the radical symbol. And then minus. Now, this is just a square root of 1296. So the square root symbol we have, which is above the x squared button. So you hit second x squared for the square root of 1296. Hit your right arrow key to get out of it, and then times 2. And then hit enter. So the answer there will be negative 60. Okay. All right, the next problem. Now notice we got the seventh root of 279,936 plus the cube root of 17,576. All right, in this case here, the seventh root, we're going to type in the number 7. Then we're going to hit the math key, and we're going to select number 5, which has the x and then the radical symbol. So that's the one that we want. And then you're going to hit enter. Now notice it's going to put that as the seventh root of, and then we type in this number, 279,936. And then you hit your right arrow key to get out from underneath that radical, plus the cube root. Now if we press the math key, notice on the number 4, you see a 3 with the radical. That represents the cube root. We can select that one. And then type in 17,576. And then hit your right arrow key to get out from underneath the radical. And then you're going to press enter. And you will get an answer of just plain 32. Okay. And the last problem. In this case here, we got 6 to the 5th power plus, in the bracket, 36 plus, in the parentheses, 2 plus 3 times the 5th root of 16,807. That expression we can enter as is. Now for the 6 to the 5th, we type in the 6, and then use this caret key, and that will raise it up to an exponent, so we can type in the 5 as our exponent for 6 to the 5th. But we got to use our right arrow key to get out of that. And then plus, since we don't have brackets, we'll use parentheses in its place. 36 plus, and then left parentheses, 2 plus 3 times, and then for the 5th root of 16,807, type in the number 5, which is your index, hit your math key, select number 5, which is your x with the radical symbol. I'm just using the down arrow key to highlight number 5 and press enter. It'll put it as the 5th root, as you can see here. It's putting it as the 5th root, and then I'll type in the 16,807. Hit your right arrow key to get out of it, and notice I need 2 right parentheses, and then hit enter. And that'll give you the answer, 7,835. Okay. So this video should be enough to assist you with some of the actual calculated activity problems that are due in class when you turn this in. And please feel free to watch this video as much as you need to, and also feel free to come see me and ask questions if necessary.